Sweet liberty! No!
Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Got two major news stories that happened this week. The first being the most recent, with Helldivers 2 kind of forcing players into something that they didn't agree upon, and some major greedy practices from Escape From Tarkov. Welcome to this week's wrap up. Before we get started, I would really appreciate it if you guys liked, shared, and subscribed, as it really helps with the channel. We're currently 38 subscribers from 600 subscribers, so let's see if we could get to 600 by the end of the month. Also, let's see if we could get this video to 50 likes. Thanks again guys. So, I'm sure that everybody's heard by now, but not many people are happy with Helldivers 2 at the moment. Basically, if you play Helldivers 2 on PC, you're gonna have to make a PSN account in order to play it. In a recent post that Arrowhead Studios made to the community on Steam, they state, "Attention Helldivers, due to technical issues at the launch of Helldivers 2, we allowed the linking requirements for Steam accounts to a PlayStation Network account to be temporarily optional. That grace period will now expire. Account linking plays a critical role in protecting our players and upholding the values of safety and security provided on PlayStation and PlayStation Studios games. This is our main way to protect players from griefing and abuse by enabling the banning of players that engage in that type of behavior. It also allows those players that have been banned the right to appeal. As such, as of May 6, all new Helldivers 2 players on Steam will be required to connect their Steam account to a PlayStation Network account. Current players on Steam will start to see the mandatory login from May 30th and will be required to have linked a Steam and PlayStation Network account by June 4th. PlayStation Network accounts are free and easy to sign up using this link. We understand that while this may be an inconvenience to some of you, this step will help us to continue to build a community that you are all proud to be a part of. Many thanks for your continued support of Helldivers 2, Sony Interactive Entertainment." And oh boy, the internet did not like that. A lot of people voiced their concerns, obviously. Most people talking about how they already purchased the game and this wasn't something that they agreed to when they had purchased the game. So it begs the question that if we've already paid for the game on Steam, and for those who don't have a PlayStation console or account for that matter and are just strictly PC players, are they going to get locked out of their Helldivers 2 games and accounts because they chose not to make a PlayStation account or link their Steam to a PlayStation account? I mean, for the people who are buying Helldivers now, it's a requirement, so if they're spending their money on it now, then they have no choice but to do the account linking. But they state for people that own the game that by June 4th, they're going to start enforcing this to be mandatory. And then there's the issue of people who aren't even able to access PSN. I had seen one comment on Twitter that said, "PSN is unavailable in the Philippines, are you gonna refund me?" Which is a good question. If you're gonna lock people out of their games and some people aren't even able to access PSN, their back is kind of against the wall. They won't be able to play Helldivers 2, so they bought the game. You guys are requiring them to link their Steam to a PlayStation account and then making this mandatory linking of the Steam and PlayStation account for people who aren't even able to access PSN is just kind of scummy. They spent $40 or $60 on this game, not to mention the microtransactions that are on the game since it is a live service game. Possibly spent all that money and then they won't be able to access it. So I think we really need to see a proper response from Sony regarding this whole thing, because straight up, I don't think this was a decision from Arrowhead. I think that Sony is kind of making them go through this whole process. And while this isn't necessarily the first time that you've had to link your Steam to another account, you know, some examples like EA or Ubisoft or even Xbox when you play Halo, it's just still kind of baffling that they're kind of pulling this up out of nowhere, and then it could potentially make it so that players can't play Helldivers 2. Forgot to mention that they claim that this is for the safety and security of players, but lots of people pointed out that Sony has been the victim of a lot of hacking attacks. Someone on Steam said, "Yeah, I'm not linking my account to PSN." April 2011, hackers accessed personal data of 77 million Sony PlayStation Network users. May 2011, personal details on 25 million Sony Online Entertainment customers stolen. June 2011, Sony Pictures website hacked, exposing 1 million accounts. November 2014, hackers steal 100 terabytes of data from Sony Pictures. August 2017, hacker group accesses Sony's social media accounts. September 2023, Sony investigates alleged hack. October 2023, Sony notifies employees of data breach. Lots of hacking going on over there at Sony, it looks like. And with all the publicity that this is getting now, I can pretty much imagine that there's going to be another one specifically for the Helldivers 2 community. Right now on Steam, Helldivers 2 is currently sitting at mixed recent reviews, so people are really letting them know that they're not okay with this. But what are you guys thinking about this whole thing happening with Helldivers 2 at the moment? Even though I do have a PlayStation account, I can't say that I agree with this new thing that they're implementing. I feel like this is just Sony trying to cash in on the Helldivers 2 hype so that maybe they can make Helldivers 3 a PlayStation exclusive. And this really sucks, man. I was really hyped for that new Warbond trailer that they just released. But yeah, let me know what you guys are thinking about all of this in the comments. Oof, you guys thought that was bad? Let's talk about Escape from Tarkov and the Unheard Edition. So Escape from Tarkov is a multiplayer tactical first-person shooter video game in development by Battlestate Games for Microsoft Windows. These guys had a pretty loyal fan base, but they might be scattered now with this new Unheard Edition that they recently announced. So here are the things that come with this Unheard Edition. Guaranteed instant access to closed beta, digital copy preload, access to PvE co-op mode with persistent progression, progression will not be reset with wipes, enhanced stash size, unique in-game ID, expanded PMC pockets, increased fence standing, more slots on the flea market, unique in-game melee weapon, increased mail retention time, additional background screen option, free access to all subsequent DLCs, access to the early test server, additional equipment and resources in stash, all for the low price of $250. Understandably, people are upset because you're essentially paying $250 for a lot of pay-to-win elements, but I think the people who are suffering most are the people who bought the Edge of Darkness limited edition. Apparently, people who bought that, which was, I believe, $100 to purchase, were guaranteed to have all the future DLCs that were to be included with the game. One Reddit user by the name of rsnake91 wrote, "From your email receipt, I paid for it. Guaranteed instant access to closed beta, digital copy preload, huge size of stash, additional equipment and resources in stash, initially good standings with all in-game traders, unique in-game ID, and free access to all subsequent DLCs, season pass." Battlestate Games try to battle against those comments, saying, "First of all, PvE game mode, this is not DLC. DLC in our understanding is the major additions to the game, including various functionality and content that are released after the official release of the game as a themed DLC pack. Scav Life DLC, for example, which will add a lot of new mechanics and content for Scav gameplay and leveling, which they kinda just made whatever point they were trying to prove even worse, because they're trying to sell the PvE mode as a new type of functionality and separate content. If it's not a new type of functionality or a separate piece of content, then why isn't it in the base game for everybody to use?" They tried to kind of backpedal on this whole thing by giving people who bought the Edge of Darkness limited edition 6 months of high priority matching and 6 months of access to the offline PvE mode, but people are understandably not happy about that either. This is after them putting out an apology of not apologizing really, but just saying that we're sorry that you guys are feeling this way about what we're doing. Yeah, not great overall with what's going on here. Battlestate Games should really reconsider everything that they're doing. It's very disappointing to see Battlestate Games act this way towards the people who brought them up to this point. Their pre-orders, their love for the game and everything is the reason why they're elevated to such a height, and for them to just put this out there to try to get more money from their customers is just very scummy in my opinion. But that's just my take on it. What do you guys think about this whole thing happening with Escape from Tarkov and the Unheard Edition? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Alright guys, time for the games coming out next week. Plushie from the Sky, a goofy action RPG. Armed with a plushie, smack down nightmarish foes with cuddly chaos. She's the boss. Dodge roll your way to victory. Coming out on PC, May 6. Prison Architect 2. Welcome Architects. Design and develop your own personalized penitentiary in Prison Architect 2. The classic prison builder has broken out into 3D and it's up to you to contain it. Coming out on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC, May 7th. Crow Country. The year is 19 1990. It's been 2 years since the mysterious disappearance of Edward Crow and the abrupt closure of his theme park, Crow Country. But your arrival has broken the silence, Mara Forest. If you want answers, you'll have to venture deep into the darkness of Crow Country to find them. Coming out on PlayStation 5 and PC, May 9th. The Bridge Curse 2, The Extrication. Try to escape with your life in a first-person survival horror adventure. Play through the eyes of 4 distinct characters as you evade and confront terrifying ghosts, unravel mind-bending puzzles, and unearth a sinister conspiracy. Coming to PC, May 9th. And finally, Little Kitty, Big City. Will you make your way home, or will you explore what the big city has to offer first? I mean, getting home is obviously your main priority. Obviously. Well, it's one of your priorities. Maybe more of a guideline. It's definitely on your to-do list somewhere, but first, exploration. Coming to Nintendo Switch, Xbox Series X and S, and PC, May 9th. And that's a wrap, folks. Thanks again for stopping by for this week's wrap-up. If you enjoy the content that I put out, please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing, as it really helps with the channel. I'll have more videos out for you guys soon, but until then, stay calm, stay casual, and I'll see you guys in the next one.